I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Flag
the United States
of
of
the United
America
States,
and to the republic
Republic,
for which
for
it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Any addition or deletions tonight, Kristen?
Yes, this is Kristen. So 2 additions. There was an email that came through, which I think maybe John may be able to speak to this. It came through from Mary Lou Willits about a letter of support requested from the select board. And so I figured that can be discussed during new business. And then for old or unfinished business, Mr. Wesco is not able to attend the meeting tonight, but he just requested a follow-up and an update on some of his records requested. And looks like maybe Jonas has an addition.
Yes, under new business, I had a conversation with one of the business owners in the village area. It's regarding COVID money for restaurants. So I want to bring that up.
Okay. So that was Jonas Rosenthal addressing and requesting to discuss new business regarding COVID funds in the village.
Okay. Excellent. Introduction of those present. Can you do that again, Kristen? I think that's the easiest way.
Sure. So this is Kristen, and just a reminder for this evening's meeting, as we all are so good at doing, if everybody could just continue to introduce themselves before speaking, as this meeting is being recorded for PEG TV. So this is Kristen, and tonight in members in attendance, members of the select board, we have Mike Beecher, John Malcolm, Chuck Whedon, Ed Cleveland, and Bob Jones. Others in attendance, we have myself, Kristen Powers, Jessica Van Ort, John Sabatka, Jonas Rosenthal, Frank Nelson, Julie Mack, and Tom Collard.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Everybody had a chance. There's 2 bunches of minutes to read. How about the regular minute from 11/17/2020?
This is Chuck. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Okay.
John will second it.
Okay. All right then. All in favor? Jonas, do you have a question?
Well, I read the minutes and I had submitted a report. It said no report. I submitted a report, I guess the week before. One was the list of permits, and then there was about 3 bullet items. So I don't, but it's not listed. It says no report. I have done that.
Apparently it got,
Done that a couple times, but there's some times that I forgot to write a report. But I just want to let you know that, you know.
Dave, this is Chuck Jonas. They were received and I read them
Okay.
prior to the meeting, but it was on our select board site.
Okay. It's just that you read the minutes and it says no report. That's all. Okay.
must have got overlooked. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so all in favor of accepting those minutes as printed? Chuck?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Regular minutes approved. Special meeting minutes, it was the budget meeting. Anybody have any questions or comments on those? Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
John will make the motion to accept the special budget meetings minutes.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
This is Chuck. I'll second that.
Okay. And any discussion? Chuck? How do you vote? In
Yes,
favor?
yes,
John?
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
Bob?
yes,
Okay. So under pre-requested, we have nothing, Kristen?
This is Kristen, that's correct. Mr. Wesco requested an update, but he's not here under pre-requested, so I figured that could be addressed later in the meeting if you would like.
Yep. Announcements. Nothing. Okay, excellent. Report, zoning administrator. Here you go, Jonas, you're on.
Okay, I submitted a report again via email. 3 new permits for the month of November. Or for the month of October. Waiting for 2 subdivision applications still. I have been requested to look back to 2008 or 2009 regarding a permit or if a permit was issued. I told the individual that I would look for it, but in any event, that's all I have.
Okay.
Well, you-
Anybody have any?
One other thing, you did get some emails regarding from Merrill Bent.
Right, regarding the Perham? Right, and
well,
that,
regarding the other as well, but
okay.
okay, so that's all I have to say.
Okay, and as far as the Perham case goes, now, what's our next step in that? I'm not really sure.
There was an arbitration, I think there's an arbitration hearing for December 6th, I believe.
Okay,
I'd have to go back and look at my email from Merrill.
okay. So that's still not really anything we can deal with at this point, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, until the courts have their way, then it's up to us, right?
Right.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Jonas?
this is Chuck. Jonas.
Yes.
I see the Max Market's opened again. I thought that they were working on parking so that they weren't parking on the street sides like they did in the past. Can you bring us up to speed on that? And I know across the street, there is no parking signs from the stone wall of McChesney's to the corner by the stop sign. Clearly says no parking, and they continue to park there.
Okay, I can address the market as opposed to across the street. So I pulled that permit that was issued maybe 5 years ago, and they had prepared a parking plan. And Keith and I had a conversation regarding painting no parking area, either 20, 30, 40 feet from the corner. But having said that, as part of the study that was approved by the Agency of Transportation for the scoping report for parking, for traffic safety, speed, and looking at that intersection. I think we're waiting, for the town to hire a traffic safety engineer to do the study and come up with some significant recommendations for traffic safety improvements there. But like I said, Keith and I did discuss painting no parking all the way back to about 20, 30, 40 feet. I can't recall the conversation, so. So that's where we're at, Chuck.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Jonas? All right, thank you. Planning Commission, Jessica.
All right, this is Jessica. I submitted a report, which I hope you have all received. I'll
Yes.
just go, yes. Okay, I'll go over a couple things from that. This was from our meeting that we had last week, Monday night, November the 23rd. We had a presentation from Hillary Solomon, who was presenting about the Flower Brook Flood Resilience Project. And they want us to fill out a questionnaire about what sort of things we think they should be working on in the future. So some of us are definitely going to be filling that out. And Frank Nelson, Wayne Clark, and John Sabatka were all interested in representing Pawlet on this new flood and climate resilience planning group that their organization is putting together. We also continued with our work on bringing the bylaws and the town plan into harmony, looking for any spots where the bylaws might need to be updated to better reflect what's in the town plan. And we identified a number of topics we want to look at. The most urgent one that we're going to be looking at, well, the one that we decided to look at first because it fit in very well was housing. So we're going to be using a document that Jonas has forwarded to us called Enabling Better Places, a zoning guide for Vermont neighborhoods. And we're going to look at the zoning bylaws as regards housing. We're going to be talking about that next time. We did have some questions, which we hope the select board might be able to enlighten us on a little bit. There are a few projects that were in process, and I was able to speak to Harry a little bit about them, but I don't have the full information. There's the Enhanced Energy Plan, which I have a draft from last November, and the Planning Commission is unaware of where exactly that is in process of being approved, and if there's anything further we need to do with that. The other thing that we were in process with is the moving from 1 acre to a 10-acre town, which several of the commissioners believe required a few updates to the bylaws, which had to be approved by Rutland Regional Planning Commission. So I'm getting in touch with Ed Bove over there to see what he knows about the status of these two things. But if there was any memory that the select board had about the status of these two things, we'd appreciate any information that you have. I also, this was not in my report, but sorry, I got a little weird feedback there for a second. Oh, I'm running out of space for holding the recorded Zoom meetings, and I need to know how to update them to PEG TV. And I wrote to Deb about it and haven't heard back. I think maybe she's on vacation. So anyhow, I have no space to record any more meetings. So I need within the next month to find out how to get those off my machine. Yes.
Kristen?
This is Kristen. I can, Jessica, put you in touch with the folks at PEG TV who have worked with me regarding a shared drive to upload the recordings to.
Thank you very much.
So if I'm not sure if they'll want them to the same drive or what, but I can help you out with that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good. Does anybody have any questions for Jessica or comments or? Julie?
I just read the minutes from the last meeting, and I know there was discussion about the speed signs, and I just wanted to clarify so that the Planning Commission understood. The signs that we were talking about at the last select board meetings are radar signs that just check people's speeds. They're not signs designed to tell people how to drive.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll make a note of that and make sure the commission knows that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Julie. And as far as the rest of the draft energy plan is probably still that and still in the draft form, but we could bring it back to the top. In the 10-acre town, the last conversations were John Thrasher had come up with some issues that needed to be corrected, and then he's out of the picture, and I don't really know exactly where it did fall. But I'm sure if we reached out to him, he would be able to find some of that information. And if I have a chance, Jessica, I'll see if I was copied on any of it. And do you have his email information?
I do not.
Okay, I'll try and connect with you maybe next week and get that. And if you don't hear from me, send me a little nudge.
Thank you. Oh, I did have one additional question. I was forwarded the email about the transportation study, which Harry was on that. Harry was on that group and is not on that group any longer. Do we need a commissioner to be on that group? Should I be on that group? I did ask a question, and I don't think I heard back about that.
Sounds like a good idea to me if you want to be, but I don't know if you have to.
Well,
think
it would be nice if someone from the planning commission was on it. I think, is Tom on it?
This is Kristen. I was just going to say, the last I worked with updating the Rutland group was when Tom was first brought on board. And so I don't know, Tom, if Tom might be able to speak more.
Yeah, I'm on it and John's on it. I think it would be great to have Jessica involved if she's willing to take the time. I think another set of
I am willing
eyes,
to
and
take the time, yes.
that would be my recommendation.
So this is Kristen again. There's a form that's required that's filled out with the, as far as I'm aware, that there's the primary representative and then the alternate representative or the secondary representative. And the Rutland Regional Group does ask that gets formally sent in. So I can, if you guys want to ask for it, or I can.
Go ahead.
Tom Collard here. I think what Jessica's asking about is a traffic study on the grants that we're doing with Devin. I don't think she's asking to be part of the transportation out of Rutland Regional, are you, Jessica?
No, it was the traffic study. That was
Local
the thing
study.
that, yes.
Yeah, so I think, sliding in to replace Harry would be good because Harry and I were both on that, and Jonas
Right.
and John.
Excellent.
Good.
Thank you.
And Jessica, we have a meeting. This is John. We have a meeting coming up Thursday, from 6 to 7 on Zoom. I don't know if Sarah Young can get you that info, or Devin Nearing's setting it up from the Rutland Regional Planning Commission.
Devin Nearing is setting up. Okay, I'll contact them and see if I can get the information for that. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions for Jessica? Okay, thank you very much. The road foreman's report, I just got a text from Keith and he said that he got called out for some trees down. So he doesn't know when he'll be calling in, if he'll be able to call in. So. Did you get any report from him, Kristen, or not? Nothing this week?
No, so this is Kristen. I will just share that I don't have any report from him this week. I was in touch with him after the last meeting about the select board's requests to have a more robust overview of activity logs. So nothing has happened with that yet, but I did reach out to Keith about that request.
Okay. Great, thank you.
And then additionally, the only thing with the roads foreman is that perhaps someone might be able to follow up with Keith regarding the records that have been requested of him for the public records request. That was
Okay.
my only other item for Keith, I believe.
Yeah,
So that's all from there. We can continue to follow up on that with Keith.
I did talk to him today, and he said that he's been trying to get down, but he hasn't had an opportunity to get down to the town hall to get those that information. Assessor's report. Nothing from the assessors. John, do you have any comments about the assessors?
I haven't had any contact. The only thing I am aware is that there was a mobile home that was removed, I guess, on Herrick Brook Road. Jim Ross's by the gravel pit.
Okay.
I don't know what the reporting schedule is for that.
Okay. Let me I got another note. Okay. That reminded me of something else I had to jot down. All right, town clerk's memo.
This is Kristen. There was
Oh.
not one emailed today.
All right. Julie.
Hi. Just 2 warrants today. Payroll for the week was $8,663.86. Accounts payable was $19,764.70. Just before we move off of that, there was a Schindler bill on this week's warrant, and there was one that was paid on the 16th of November. I spoke to Sue about it, and apparently it was one repair. He was not there for very long the first time, but he didn't have the parts he needed, so he had to order something and come back. And that original bill was $3841.51, so $3,800. And then the second bill was almost $3,200, $3,193.72. So I called them about that because that's $7,000 seemed excessive. And the guy he didn't really explain why it was that way, but he offered to just cut it down to like basically remove their travel time charge, because they charge their full labor price for time traveling to us, I guess. And so they reduced the labor on the first bill that was already paid from $2151.86 to $831.40. And then they reduced the labor on the second bill from $3,081.08 to $1,418.27. So the Schindler bill that's on the warrant this week is only for $210.45, because that's just the total, the new total of both bills, and then the amount that I already paid. But I just wanted everyone to be aware of that, because it seemed like we were being gouged a little bit.
Yeah. I'm glad you caught that.
This is Chuck. I've been a advocate against doing business with Schindler. I wish we had somebody else, and I thought John and Malcolm brought up some other names. I'm just thinking they must think Pawlet's an awful rich town to give us almost $7,000 in bills on just one little elevator.
Yeah, I've dropped the ball on that. I said I was going to look into that, and I haven't discovered the 3 other companies that are in the business. So if you want, I continue, or you can give it to somebody that might get it done. I don't know. I'm willing to try again.
I think if you could keep trying, John, that would be great. If we could find somebody who was closer, it seemed like we had a discussion, there was paperwork that came in either through the mail soliciting or something. They were from Burlington or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think these guys from Massachusetts are could be no closer. I mean,
Right.
you can get to Springfield, Mass almost as fast as you can get to Burlington,
Right.
on where the repairman is.
So either one of those two, I think would be a better choice. I mean, the thing that really bothers me about Shingler is Julie pressed them a little bit and they basically cut the bill almost in two. What were they just planning on, just padding it up and not worrying about, oh, maybe they won't catch it? That's the feeling I get from it.
Yeah,
This is Ed.
Ed, go
I
ahead.
think Schindler's pretty much the only game in town, and they know it. I think, what was it? A year or so ago, they came and basically put in a fuse, and that was well over $1,000. So I mean, if there's anybody out there that looking for a business to get into, they might consider going into the elevator repair.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we should just keep looking for a new alternative to repair those. Jonas, you have?
Yes, I don't remember the name of the company. The Stonebridge has in the town of Poultney has an elevator, and they've done, when I was there, they used to do annual inspections, and but they tried to schedule them around communities that were nearby so that they would always, have like 2 calls a day. But I can't remember the name of the firm, but I could certainly find out, because they did a recent repair at the Stonebridge in Poultney. I wish I could remember the name, but it's right outside of Burlington.
Okay.
I will look.
okay.
That would be
Let me-
great if you could find
Let me know, Jonas, and
Okay.
it could be the contact that cold called us after some reorganization in the industry. I'd be interested in talking.
I'll call Paul Donaldson tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great.
Chuck again. There's one thing that probably we need to confirm: contract that we signed with Schindler, because if they're charging us, they're going to charge us if we leave them, I'm sure.
I didn't think we had a contract. Is that correct, Julie?
This is Julie. So I don't know if we don't have a contract or if I just don't have it in my office, but I did not find any contract in my records.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so Julie, if you could, let's see. Are we all set? Or do you have more too?
I just stopped there so we could talk about
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
So the total monies from the general fund were 16,639.83. The highway was 11,602.75. Wastewater was 185.98. The Vermont Secretary of State's office, we received some funds through them. They paid $113.49, which was towards extra postage due to the increase in absentee voting for the August primary. And then we received $997.99 to cover the cost of the secured ballot box. And that's in addition to the COVID election grant, which was from an outside source, not from within the state of Vermont, or not from the actual government of the state of Vermont. So I wanted to thank Deb publicly for her work in submitting all the paperwork to get those funds. It's well over $6,000 that she was able to get us for our elections. And then the Vermont Current Use Hold Harmless payment came in today. It was $112,121. And then just a reminder again, because I'm just going to do this as we go along, that due to the COVID increases in the state and across the US, I'm requiring tax payments be mailed or dropped off in the secure drop box outside. I will mail back receipts, so it's to anyone that requests it. If people need to pay in cash, then they have to call and schedule an appointment, and I'm only accepting in-person cash payments.
I think this is John. I'm wondering whether you should emphasize that do not put cash in the drop box, because we don't want people to do that.
I did, I guess I didn't emphasize don't put cash in the Dropbox, but I did emphasize to people that they can put their checks in there, and then I'm available to take cash. There's not a ton of people that pay in cash, but there are some. I'm just not going to be available to everybody because I don't think that it's safe for me, and I don't think it's safe for everybody else. So the only people that I'm willing to meet outside, because we're getting into cold weather, are cash payers. I think most people aren't comfortable putting cash in the Dropbox, but I can email, I guess not Elizabeth, I don't know, or is it still Elizabeth? I can email somebody about the website. Elizabeth? I'll email Elizabeth and add that emphasis on don't put cash in the Dropbox.
Okay.
This is Kristen. I just wanted to add that for the sake of emphasizing that point as well, I was planning to just copy and paste that exact bullet point from Julie's memo so that everybody who reads the minutes can see that message loudly and clearly with quotation marks. So credit will be given where credit is due.
No credit, cash only.
So yes, we'll spread the message far and wide. And then just speaking to that, it is still Elizabeth for now, but we're going to be working on Sean's onboarding and transition in. So still Elizabeth for the website for now. I know that this is Kristen one more time. I know Jennifer Sullivan had a question. She's in the audience this evening. So when we get to that point, she had a question about the treasurer's memo.
Okay. How much more do you got, Julie? Is that, I don't remember.
I was done basically, unless I emailed everybody the Excel sheets of the budget that we went over at our last meeting just verbally, and I put it all together. And if you were ready to vote on those budgets, we could do that. Or if you want time to look them through, then we could do it at the next meeting, and I'll just continue putting my reports together, assuming that nothing changes. And then I'll make adjustments as needed if I need to.
Okay. What does everybody think? Wait, I didn't really get a chance to study it very hard today, so I just soon wait till the next cycle. That puts us still in pretty good shape, right, Julie? If we could vote it in at the next cycle.
I can move forward on my reports with the numbers that I have.
So does anybody want to vote for it now, or do we want to wait a little bit till the next so we can review it? And if anybody sees anything, they should contact Julie and talk to her about it. Everybody okay with that? Looks that way. Okay. So we'll put that on the agenda to vote on the budget at the next meeting, please, Kristen.
Okay.
So now tonight we need somebody to make a motion for the warrants.
Just add, I'll make a motion to accept the warrants.
Okay. Have a second?
John will second it.
Okay. So we got a motion made and seconded to pay the warrants. All in favor? Chuck?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. As far as the auditor's report, Julie, I can, once I read that, I can scan and sign and scan and send that into you, if that's all right, or,
Yeah, that's great.
okay. I
It was
will,
just the one, there's just that one report that requires your signature. The other ones are just for, I can sign.
okay. All right, so the one that says the chair of the select board, I'll look through that and get it. Let's see, you work Thursday too, right?
No, I don't work Thursdays, although I'm popping in and out. So if you're, just send it and I'll,
I'm not 100% sure I'll get it reviewed and sent tomorrow or not, but I'll try and have it sent to you by Thursday.
okay, I'm doing a bunch of work from home now too with getting all my reports ready. So I'm checking my emails pretty regularly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions for Julie? Okay, moving right along. Emergency Management Director. Anything from Bob Morlino?
Yes, this is Kristen, and I have that report.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did Jennifer have a question regarding the treasurer's report?
I think my comments are probably, I'll hold them until we have public comment on the old business. Because it doesn't really
Okay.
pertain to what you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so this is Kristen. The Emergency Management Director's report for November of 2020 was submitted by Bob Morlino. COVID-19 updates continue to be posted daily to the Facebook page to keep residents informed. He participated in 2 conference calls this month with Vermont Emergency Management and other emergency entities. And Pawlet Emergency Management applied for and received a grant from Vermont Public Service Commission for a free Wi-Fi hotspot in Pawlet. The Wi-Fi hotspot has been installed at the Pawlet Public Library and provides a Wi-Fi signal in approximately a 400-foot radius from the library. The equipment and installation has a value of $2,500, and the network is labeled Pawlet Hotspot.
Excellent.
So, you can go surf the web in the center of town. He didn't say that. I added that part in, but that was all from Bob Morlino. Sorry. That last sentence was mine. If no other questions on that, I can share the health officer's report.
Move right on to that, please.
Okay, Pawlet Health Officer report for November 2020. Investigated septic odor, no violation found. Received a noise complaint and non-mask wearing at a social gathering on Briar Hill Road. Advised resident that neither is enforceable by a health officer. Resident was referred to the Vermont Health Department regarding the mask order. A complaint form is available online. Bob Morlino.
Okay, well, thank you for reading that. Wastewater. I started reviewing those statements of qualifications, and I wasn't able to pull anything off this week. And I don't know, did anybody else review any of those statements of qualifications? Well, I reached out to Jill today and talked to her and forwarded them to her. And she's going to work with me and go through them so that we can get it sorted out. And she said she just barely got done doing one of the ski areas, so it's fresh in her memory right there. So we'll work through that, and we plan to have some direction by the next meeting. Other than that, everything seems to be working well. She's preparing for a state inspection they're gonna have in a week or so. So she's making sure everything's in order, but the results have all been coming back pretty well. And she's been managing the tanks, and she has one RBC shut off, and that seems to be making everything work quite well. So that's where we stand with that. Any questions? Okay. Older unfinished business.
Wait a minute.
Julie had her
Julie
hand
had-
up.
I'm sorry, I was looking at my notes, Julie.
That's okay. This is Julie. I just, I don't remember if John Malcolm had reached out to me via email about this, but there was a while ago, there was an article in the Rutland Herald about, an application through, I guess it's not through Brock, but there was an extension of some funds, some COVID funds for people that, are having problems paying their utilities, and it sort of made it seem like it was specifically private utilities. So I called them to see if it was something that people on our public utility would be eligible for, and no one ever called me back. But I didn't know if we wanted to put it out there for individuals to try themselves, but the hotline number was 1-800-622-4496. And I can email Kristen the application link if you guys want to put that out there. I tried to call them ahead of time just to see. I didn't want to send people there if they weren't eligible for the funds, but having not heard from anybody, I think we might as well put it out there for people so they can find out if they might be eligible for a little bit of help.
No, that seems good. We should put that out. Thank you.
Yep.
This is Ed. With that being said, it reminded me, was there something about COVID money, a new business? I thought he mentioned that, or somebody did.
Yes. So I was going to bring it up under. new
Okay.
business.
Okay, sorry. Thanks, Jonas.
Okay.
Okay.
This is Kristen. Julie, if you wouldn't mind sending me that, that would be great. And I can put the link in with the minutes.
Okay, on to older unfinished business. Okay, in regards to Wesco, we still have, Mike Wesco, we still have some information to get from Keith to finish his requests.
Yeah, so this is Kristen. So Julie forwarded me all of the costs that she would be able to obtain, as well as the time cards that were requested for the requested time frame. So I have, and that has all been sent on to Mike. So he was mostly just curious about a time frame of which he may be able to expect that information in the email that he wrote this morning.
Okay, so how much haven't we given him with most everything we've compiled so far? Or?
This is Kristen again. I believe that he is looking additionally for some activity and equipment logs, and he's also looking for the list from the town of the approved vehicles, the approved overweight vehicles. I don't think I have the terminology correct, and I don't have it pulled up right in front of me, but there were a couple of items that he was looking for that he seemed to believe would come from Keith and also possibly Deb, that list of approved vehicles to travel through town, approved trucks.
Yeah, I believe that Deb is the one that handles all those permits.
Yeah.
They're blanket permits for.
So
for
I
the
guess
roads.
I'm aware of the fact that you all are not quite entirely in control of obtaining this information yourselves, but just looking for guidance on mostly what to tell him, and or would you like for me to reach back out to Deb and Keith?
Yes, if we can reach back out to Deb and Keith and explain to them that to do their best to get it for the next meeting for him, so that he can have it prior to the next meeting.
Okay, I can ask them. I didn't get into it. I mean, I know with we just had a holiday week, which and we're preparing for winter, and I know that there's a lot going on, which I'm sure everybody understands. So I will reach out to Keith and to Deb and be back in touch with Mr. Wesco, letting him know that we have hopes of getting everything that he needs to him before the next meeting.
Okay, that'll be good. Thank you.
This is Frank.
Yes,
This
Frank.
is Frank along that subject. There have been places where certain roads were posted to a certain weight limit, of course, that's logical. And if there was any damage or perceived damage, that sometimes the businesses would mitigate and do the repair and upgrade that section of road if it's not a very long section of road in order to continue to operate their equipment. That might be something to look at because shutting a business down where they have to use the road to operate their business at this point in time would be not a good thing for the economic development in the town. So it might be some creativity that Keith and Mike and John and Ed and Chuck might want to look into to see if, and Bob, to see if something could be done creatively to make all parties happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Ed. Couldn't understand a word he said.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Chuck. I mean, he's a computer guru. You'd almost think he'd be able to get his volume adjusted, but it's continually an issue with me. I can't understand him.
Well, I believe the point he was trying to make is sometimes there's instances where some of the businesses can work with the town crew to upgrade sections of road so that everybody wins. That's kind of the gist of it. And thank you for that comment, Frank. Solar speed signs. We got updated quotes. Oh, and
This is
Jonas also. Go ahead, and Jonas has a question
No,
after you. No?
I'd like to talk after Kristen.
Okay, my comment is quick. I just wanted to let you all know that I did forward you the updated quote following our last meeting, just so that you should have that in your inboxes if you search back around 2 weeks ago. And they have been really kind, the folks at Elon City that we've been working with, in that they did quote us from what they said with a special quote, and they have been willing to continue to offer us that special rate throughout the duration. So that's all from me.
Okay. Jonas?
Yes, this is Jonas. Having said that, now that the town has received the grant to do a study for, I guess, traffic calming and signage and what have you, is that you might want to consider holding off on purchasing those devices, only because the traffic consultant may have some other ideas. And so it just, I know you put it in last year's budget, but if you do buy them, where are you going to put them? And, you know, I would just, if it were me, I would put that off until you have an opportunity to work with a transportation planner or engineer.
Okay.
But-
Well,
but
thank
I
you
would-
for your comment.
But I would
Go ahead.
encumber those funds at the end of your fiscal year for purchase the following year in the event that the Agency of Transportation, the study, makes recommendations of certain types of equipment and where to put it. I would just hold off. That's just my advice. That's all.
Julie? Thank you.
Hi, this is Julie. I just, I don't necessarily disagree with this, but I do know that I contacted a bunch of people with the state, and one of the issues with them addressing speeding is a lack of data about speeding.
Right.
So that was why we had wanted to get the signs. But I see your point, because if there's going to be a study done, then we don't really want to skew the data by having signs up that slow people down or alter the way people naturally drive through town. So I can see that that makes sense. But I feel like there's probably enough spots in town that we could just buy them. Are they movable? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if they were.
I believe, this is Kristen, I do believe that they are. I would have to double check on that. And my only add to this, on piggybacking on your topic, Julie, is that I know that the speed studies are going to be taking place in the center of Pawlet proper. And there have been, as of late, a lot of more serious speed concerns in West Pawlet where we're not yet going to be having a speed study as far as we know. So the potential could be that these signs, so long as they are movable, live temporarily or for the time being in West Pawlet, as to not skew the data which may come in from a speed study.
Jonas?
This is Jonas. So I did not know you were talking about the speed carts that are movable. So that wouldn't affect the study. But again, there's a meeting Thursday night, 6 o'clock. That John Malcolm will be there and Tom will be there and Jessica will be there. So you might want to have that conversation.
Well, it sounds like something we probably don't need to order tonight. I don't believe they're the actual carts, but I don't think that it's, I think they need to be secured to something, but I think they can be moved without, a great deal of work.
Yeah. Well, your second constable has a lot of knowledge on that.
Okay, Bill.
Yeah, Bill Humphreys, yes.
So I think it's probably just as well that we at least wait till after this meeting and before we make any kind of decisions on that. Everybody else agree with that, or?
This is Jennifer. I just have questions on exactly what kind of signs they are. Are they the ones that when you drive by, it shows you your speed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Jonas?
I want to come back to new business, but I have to take my dog out. So I'm just going to check out here for a second and I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Chuck?
This question is for Julie. I think when I went through our proposed budget sheets, Julie, didn't we have the amount of those two signs listed on that budget?
We have in the current fiscal year that we are in right now, budgeted money for those signs. So we made that decision at the budget meeting last year. So we do have those funds that either need to be spent by 6/30/2021, or like Jonas said, encumbered, where we're basically acknowledging that money will be spent, but it's money from this year that we'll spend next. And we also made a decision at 2 Thursdays ago to keep that line item so that we could purchase a couple of more signs, acknowledging that there's speeding issues in Pawlet Village as well as West Pawlet Village.
Okay, thanks.
This is Ed. Now, are we renting these signs or buying these signs?
Buying them.
We're buying them, so we'll own them.
We'll own them, yes.
Okay.
Kristen?
This is Kristen. I just wanted to add, I've pulled up the quote. So just so that everybody knows what it is that we're talking about. It's for two 14-inch solar Evolus radar speed signs with programmable message display, internal solar power regulator, traffic data collection and analysis software with no subscription fee, Bluetooth and smartphone app with a mounting kit. We also would be getting 4 12-volt batteries, as well as an 80-watt solar panel with mounting kit, 2 of those, and delivery. So this is what we are speaking of here when we're talking about the radar speed signs.
Thank you.
Everybody's smiling, but Very pertinent information.
Does it do dishes?
Okay, this is Ed again. So then we would be responsible for the upkeep also.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that's like, okay, Julie, this is the one then must be like they had in Manchester last year, that where you were naughty or nice.
Yes, we can make it say naughty or nice. Do you see these possibilities that we have now?
Zombies ahead.
Yeah, this is worth it just for the programmable messaging. Forget the speed control. I'm just
Right.
kidding.
If you give somebody something to read, they slow down so they can read what it's saying.
Yes.
Something different.
Another stupid question though. Do we need cell service to run it?
I
Or
don't
is it
believe
all
so.
self-
I think it's all self-contained, and you just,
Okay.
in order to download it, you may have to tie into it or something. I'm guessing that, I'm just assuming that, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I would suspect that self-service isn't necessarily, it would only be necessary to gather the information from it, maybe, perhaps.
Okay.
Okay. Signage for the quarry. Has anybody come up with appropriate signage, or where to even get it, or et cetera? No.
That would be a question for Keith, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Can you put that down on his list too, please, Kristen?
Yeah.
Thank you. Speed concerns, information and speed studies, et cetera. So we know where we stand in Pawlet. I reached out to Chris Taft about the West Pawlet intersection that the previous engineer had done some work on Nelson Blanchard, but Chris was unable to find any documents that were left over from that. And I'm guessing that study may have been as many as 7 or 8 years, 6 or 7 years ago, because Decker was still on, the clearance was still on the board. But, and he said that pretty much just because it's a state aided highway, 153, it's still up to us to kind of do what we want to. So we have to work to get a grant to get, it doesn't sound like the state does any of that engineering like they once did. So he just said, no, you pretty much can do what you want. That's the way he made it sound. So now I got to talk back with Devin some more about it and see the next few steps. But I haven't had a chance to do that yet either. So that's where we stand with that, the monument moving and et cetera. It's going to have to be a big plan. So any other questions for the center of the West Pawlet Village? Okay. Where did Chuck go? Chuck's gone. So
Yep.
The only other thing I had under old business was that the squatters in the trailer on Route 153 have been served notice that they need to move out. But I don't know if they have. Bob, have you been by there to see if anything has changed or not? Bob?
I have not, Mike.
Okay.
I have not heard anything on it.
Okay, I haven't been by there in a couple of weeks, so I don't know. I was wondering what Chuck must go by there, and I was wondering what he had to offer, but it's all.
This is Jennifer. I've been by there a few times in the last 4 or 5 days, and it doesn't look like anything's changed to me.
Okay, right. Just because they have the papers doesn't necessarily mean that they're gone, so. But it's all in process and we're working toward that. Oh, there's Chuck. Chuck, what's going on with the trailer in the village? Are the people still living there in Spruce Gum?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, they've been served notice that they need to move out, but I haven't heard any more than that they've been served. So that's where we stand on that project.
Well, okay, so this is Chuck. As far as dates, do we need to have a law enforcement officer make contact with them and
Oh,
give
no,
them
they,
24 hours to vacate?
now, it's not that easy, but the sheriff's department has served the occupants with legal documents that they need to vacate. And it's all legal now, Chuck. So I don't
Okay,
know any
so
of the particulars
If they
about
don't,
it.
if they don't comply and keeps running on, do they just continue to stay there, Mike?
Well, then it just keeps going to the next step and the next step, but I haven't talked to Meryl about what the next step is. But she's been on it. She took care of all the paperwork and stuff, so I'm sure that when the time each action has a specific time allotment. So I'm assuming that as soon as the time allotment ends, she'll give me information on what our next step will be.
Well, they haven't taken care of anything outside of the mobile home. They've got a easy up. They've got a couple vehicles that are not roadworthy that are there. I mean, seems like they ought to at least be getting rid of those in some location, but
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the whole total course of how it all lays out, but I know that they got so many days after they're served, and then the next step happens, and then the next step happens, and I'm sure it'll end up in court a couple of times before we end up getting it. But that seems to be the way the legal process works. So, but we're trying. That's all I guess I can say. All right. Any other old or unfinished business? No, new business. John, you had. Oh, Ed, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, go on. Did John have something or?
Well, okay, well, whatever, I don't care. I do have something.
Go ahead then.
Okay, Mary Lou Willits of the library is applying for some library grant that they want to use to help defray the salary of Sarah Young on the community connector position. And she wanted me to sign it as a member of both the select board and the historical society. And I didn't really want to do it without passing it by you guys. I think Kristen got it late and from Mary Lou, but it's pretty boilerplate. I just didn't want to sign it on your guys' behalf without you guys being aware of it. But it's a $3,000 grant, and I don't know what the chance of us getting it or not, but Mary Lou's been pretty good about backfilling stuff that's with the budget, so that the with the loss of fundraising events has been pretty successful. So I'm willing to sign it if no one has any objection.
Anybody have any objections to John signing it on behalf of the select board? I don't. I think that's all good, John. Go ahead and sign it.
Okay. It should be in your email box, but it got sent out late.
Okay, I probably didn't see it yet. Okay, Jonas is back somewhere, but not back exactly. And that's
Okay, well, This is Ed. While we're waiting for Jonas. Has anyone else noticed the unregistered vehicle that's been sitting in the library parking lot for quite a while, a red Subaru? To my knowledge, there's no plates on it. It's just been sitting there.
I have no idea. I haven't been in the village in months, so I guess, Kristen, could you ask Mary Lou if she's aware of that? If she send her an email and ask her if she's aware of it or whatever have you, because it needs to go away for sure.
Sure.
Thank you. Julie?
I didn't see it when I was there today, but honestly, unless it darts across the road in front of me, I might not notice it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just sitting off to the side of it. It's been there quite a while.
Okay.
And
Is
while
that
we're
full
on
of-
that, and while we're on that subject, it appears that there's a private residence here that's using that as their public parking place for at least a couple vehicles on a pretty regular basis. I have no idea where they're coming from, but
Okay. All right.
You're pretty
Jonas.
polite, Ed.
what was that, Chuck?
I said, you're pretty polite saying you didn't know where they came from.
I don't.
Jonas, you have information on some COVID funds
So,
under new business?
okay, so at the Pawlet station, I was having a conversation with Ray and Adrian, and they were talking about, they had applied for COVID money, but they were also interested in getting, what do you call, tents and heating equipment. And for restaurants. And I know that Brattleboro, Bennington, the downtown improvement district had applied for and received some COVID monies for restaurants. And it's basically to keep customers around, in cold weather and so on. So I said I would look into it. And today I found out, I got back, some folks got back to me, and there is still money available. And in order to apply, either the municipality would apply, a private nonprofit organization would apply, or Rutland Economic Development Corporation could apply. I don't think it would be competitive on a one restaurant business, but perhaps the market and the other restaurant, since they are in the village designated downtown, would be eligible for these funds for, again, I don't know what their needs are, but it could be tents, it could be heating equipment, could be tables and chairs outside, I don't know. So my question is that something that you want me to look at, pursue? I was thinking of calling Kim Roop from Rutland Economic Development Corp., see if she had time to maybe apply. I'd help her. I didn't know what you wanted to do.
Well, it seems like a good idea to me. I can't see any reason why we wouldn't at least try and apply it, and we could get some, and therefore some money could trickle down to those businesses to use for such items. Everybody else have any comment on it, or John's shaking his head in favor?
Would that, this is Chuck, would that include the two, Sheldon's Market and Max Market?
Well, I didn't think about the Sheldon Market, but that's a possibility. I'd asked Adrian and Ray to talk to the market next door and the restaurant up above, but the Sheldon, certainly I didn't think of it, but it's worth asking if they need things. So we can make I guess the more businesses, the better the application, I guess.
Yeah.
So you're talking the barn, Max, Sheldon's, and the station.
Yep.
Yeah, yes.
I'm good with that.
This is Ed. Yeah, I'm good with that too. Anything to help our businesses.
Bob?
Mike, I'm also good with it.
All right, sounds good. Do what you can do, Jonas, and keep us posted, please. That'd be great. Thank you.
I should have a better idea by Thursday.
Okay. Is there any other new business? Public comment. Jennifer had something she wanted to talk about, but it looks like she's coming back.
I already asked my question, but thank you.
Okay. All right, good, thank you. Frank, what do you got for us tonight? Cool, nothing, great. Does anybody else have any public comment? Then I guess if
You
there's
ready?
nothing else to do tonight,
I
Ed?
make a motion to adjourn. This is Ed.
Excellent, Ed, thank you very much. Do I have a second on that motion? Chuck? Yeah. Go ahead, Chuck. Push the yes button, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All in favor, adjournment? Chuck? Yeah. John?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.